Hey folks, it's Scott from Gregos Gardening, and I've got a quick little short video that I want to show you today where I am going to be removing some little air layers that I took or that I set on some of my fig trees. It's such a simple thing to do, and on figs in particular, air layering works really well to generate clones of your tree. So if you've got a tree or trees that you really like, and you want a simple way to get a duplicate, literally an identical duplicate of that tree, use an air layer. In a matter of weeks, you will be off and running. But I've got a Paradiso Bronze that's been growing pretty well for me, and I actually set 2 air layers on this particular tree, and I know one of them is loaded with roots, and I suspect the other one is too. We'll open it up and get them potted and show you what it all looks like. This is the tree, again, Paradiso Bronze. There are several varieties of Paradiso, and this one happens to be, the Paradiso Bronze happens to be the VS. It is a green fig with a red interior. I've got one that's starting to ripen here. So the little limb there where the foil is wrapped around, you know, that is not normally something, that's normally not a branch or a limb that you would try to air layer because it's really thin. It's less than pencil thickness. But I figured, what the heck, I was going to remove it anyways, and so I figured, why not give it a try? And again, when you look in there, it's got roots for sure. Looks like it's doing well. But here's part of the reason why. Let's see if you can see that it's got really it's not a 100% closed eye, but it's a really closed eye to help keep bugs and that kind of stuff out of it. That makes it good for the climate that I live in here in 9A Southeast Texas. Right, so let's kind of take a look at what we've got here. And so I'm going to remove the foil there, and you know, as you can see, I'll cut it off and hold it up close to the camera. I've got a little root ball that's made here. Now, this particular air layer that I set, the reason that I had wrapped it in foil is because the little bulb, I don't know what the proper term is for this, it's clear, and so you want to shield it from direct sunlight, and so foil is what is used. The other one that I have here, because the entire, turn it a little bit, because the entire container is black, I did not put foil around it. So get that little piece of foil out of there. Let me clip this off, and this is how simple it is I'm going to clip this right here. And now I'm going to cut the zip ties off, and this will be ready to go into a little pot. And it's going to be a baby Paradiso Bronze. Now, unfortunately, I am going to have to sacrifice the fig, right? But that's just the cost of doing business. You don't have to have these little balls to do this. You can use, I've seen people use margarine tubs. I've seen people use Tupperware. I've seen people use water bottles. If it's a bigger air layer, I've seen people use pots, and they just set a whole pot. They cut a little hole or notch in the pot and put the pot on there and fill it up with soil, and then the roots will fill in. So if I were wanting to do one of these larger ones, let's say like this limb, right, I would either do a bigger ball like this, or I could realistically even do it in a small pot like this and go from there. But for now, what I think I'm going to try to do with this tree is to get it to become 3 leaders like this, so that it will have these 3 main branches coming off. But we'll see. This one may still get air layered off as well here. But I'm not there yet. So let me get a little soil. Into a container here. Let's see how this is going to sit in there. I'm going to set it in there so that it hopefully will grow up and straight. And when I pop this, it's not going to matter if I bury a little bit more of this stem. That's going to be okay. It's lignified actually, and it may actually spit out more roots. But what I want to try to do as early as I can, right, you see how it's bent? Okay, so what I want to try to do is to create upright growth out of it now. And so I'm going to angle it a little bit as I set it down in there. But let me see if I can carefully remove this ball for you here. And you can see what we got. So look at that. Isn't that awesome? I'd say that was a successful air layer. All right. And so now, take some of my potting mix, gently put it in there. Tuck it in just a little bit. And we're in business. Now the last thing to do is the part that hurts. I hate to do it, but I'm looking at long-term benefits rather than short-term gain. Let's see if this will... But for the sake of the plant, what I want the plant to be doing now is to be focused on growing roots and not worrying itself with little figs. That pains me. but it's in the best interest of the plant. So there's one. I know it looks little now, but hopefully it'll grow. So this is going to spend some time in the shade. I'm not going to put this out since it's now on its own and not Also living off of the roots of the mother plant, I'm going to let this spend some time under my big oak tree in the shade and just kind of chill out and get itself settled and get the roots going a little bit more. But I would classify that one anyways as a great success. Now, let's take a look at this other one. Now this other one shed its leaves, which concerns me a little bit, but I do see roots coming out down here at the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead, sorry about that. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up and see what we got in there. The Ross, the fig boss, has got a great blog article on this particular variety of fig, the Paradiso. And so I would encourage you to go see his information. And so this is a bigger ball, so there's more real estate to try to fill up. But again, certainly I've got enough roots in here to set this on its own. And so let me get, I kind of got ahead of myself. I didn't fill up a bucket to plant it. Actually, I'm going to cut a little bit of that bottom off. Do that. So, I got out of order. Oh well. And this one is gonna really have to spend some time in the shade until this apical bud here starts pushing out some foliage, which hopefully it will do in relatively short order. This was really kind of a wonky shaped little branch, little growth coming off of the mother plant. Tuck it in a little bit. And there we have it. And now the sacrifice for the sake of the plant, removing the fig. And this one will definitely need it because it's going to need all of its energy to go into pushing out foliage. And I've got little green bumps started there and there and there, and looks like but here's the point. Give it a whirl, right? I promise, if you've got a tree that's got extra branches or something coming off and you don't want to just prune them off and throw them away, it's a plant you like, a fig that you like, that you want to create duplicates, to have a backup, to give to a friend or trade or sell. Here you go, right? Really, really low cost, really low effort. You put this thing on there and forget about it. Forget about it for at least 3 or 4 weeks. Have I seen them go faster? Yeah, I've seen some go faster. But 3 or 4 weeks probably at a bare minimum, and then you can maybe give it a little peek and see what's going on in there. And if you've got a great big giant mass of roots, snip that joker off, put it in some dirt, keep it, like I said, I'm going to keep mine in the shade for at least a week until I kind of see what they're doing, and then gradually, just like rooted cuttings, gradually reintroduce them to a little bit more sunlight, because this is a very tender little plant, even though it's lignified and it's got some leaves and it's got an apical bud and this kind of stuff, and it had a great root ball. It's been in full sun, right? But I want to be careful with it and make sure that those roots get a chance to start soaking up some nutrients and developing. So if you got a question or comment, or if you do something different or something that I should have done differently, then by all means share something in the comments and give it a whirl. I promise you won't be disappointed, especially if it's a limb that you're going to remove, or a branch or leader that you're going to remove anyways. See if you can aerolator it off and go from there. All right, y'all be good. Enjoy your time in the garden, and to all the folks here in my neck of the woods we still have 500,000 people without power here in the greater Houston area, southeast Texas, because of Hurricane Beryl. I feel for you. Our heat and certainly the humidity has come back. I'm just sitting here and I'm soaking wet. But I hope the utilities get things taken care of quickly for you, that you stay healthy and stay safe. So, God bless.